You see, that's the reason why you don't get involved with Jesus and just walk off. Because Jesus really don't stand no quitting no how. If you ever get involved with Jesus, you better make up your mind to stay with him, because he becomes your covering. But if you're crazy enough to leave him, then that means you are vulnerable and uncovered. And any demon can take advantage of you when your covering is gone. That's why when these demons that were in the man rushed toward Christ, why are you tormenting us before our time? It took force to tell 6,000 demons. That's the reason why they told him, my name is Legion. The man didn't know what his name was. He asked the man, what's your name? He didn't know. The demons said, we are Legion. And when Jesus commanded them to come out, then they needed somewhere to go. And that's why Jesus gave them permission to go into the swine. He didn't want the demons to go into his disciples. They had to go somewhere. So if you just got to go, so I don't want you bothering my disciples. They have enough trouble as it is trying to learn the kingdom. They surprised you even addressed me the way you did, because the demons know more about Jesus than his disciples. I wonder why did demons have more information and knowledge about Jesus than men that's been following him for 3.5 years? Well, that's because demons are older than the disciples. You're talking about spirits that have been around for thousands of years. Lucifer was in heaven. If anybody knew Jesus, Lucifer knew him. And that's why when Lucifer allows that many demons to get into a man, then that means they bring some classified information with them. And when they began to open their mouth, see, that's why Jesus had to tell them, hold your peace now, because you're talking something my disciples don't even know this yet. They're not ready for it. You got to hush. Well, give us somewhere to go. Well, go into the swine. It ain't cause this problem with you eating pork. Somebody said, well, you shouldn't eat pork because the swine, demons went in. Well, if there had been some cows nearby, the demons would have went in the cows as far as that's concerned. They just needed somewhere to go. And once the demons got in the swine, the Bible talks about how they violently went into the lake, drowning themselves. And the people in the neighborhood told Jesus, we don't want you in our country. And you bad for business, which lets you know that they cared more about hogs than they did men. They would rather see their hogs walking around so they could go to market and sell some pork chop than to see a man walking around in his right mind. So you got to have kingdom priorities. If the kingdom is going to advance, it must forcefully advance. And you do need to understand that those who are opposed to the kingdom are forcefully opposed. You don't believe it? You just get involved with Jesus and see if some people don't get in your face and in your business to try to talk down the church, talk down the saints. You ain't got nothing good to say about nobody. I mean, they get in your way. You can't hardly get off the parking lot. I know that they don't talk to you like that, but, you know, people that are vulnerable. You know how people even watch you in church. They watch how you respond to the service, watch how you get into service. And if you act like you a deadhead after the service is over, I noticed you didn't seem to like that sermon. You ain't got to say, man, just say, You see, that's why the Bible said, watch and pray. That's, you know, whenever Jesus prayed, he didn't do like we do. Jesus didn't close his eyes and pray. Jesus looked up and prayed. The Bible said in John 17, these words spake Jesus and lifted his eyes toward heaven. You got to have enough forceful discernment in you to be able to focus in prayer while you watch and pray. The kingdom is advancing, my brothers and sisters, but the only way it advances is that it must advance forcefully. And you cannot advance forcefully without taking some blows. The enemy is not just going to lie down and let you walk over him. He's going to rise up against you. He's going to criticize you. Going to call you out of your name. If it happened to Jesus, what do you think going to happen to you? Why was Jesus called Beelzebub, prince of demons? Why was he called Winebibber, friend of sinners. Because anything that the enemy can do to destroy you, he will stop at nothing. But you do understand that when you are the church, you are indestructible. You need to know that about yourself. That's spiritual information. Jesus said, upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. If hell could destroy you, it would have done it by now. If Satan could finish you off, he'd have been done that. But because God is your protector, Satan just can't run over you, because if God be for us, who can be against us? You ought to give God some praise for that. Oh, my brothers and sisters, if the kingdom is to advance, it can only advance forcefully, which is why we are commanded to preach the gospel. Preaching is a forceful act of persuasion. And anybody go around talking about they doing a soliloquy or a monologue, you ain't preaching. Now, you wasting time. But anytime you're not excited enough about your own message to pour your own heart into, why you want me to stay awake through it? You understand? The Bible says in Isaiah 58, cry loud, spare not, lift up your voice like a trumpet. Why a trumpet? Well, preaching is not a saxophone ministry. It's not an oboe ministry. It's not a flute ministry. Preaching is not a clarinet ministry. Preaching is a trumpet ministry, because you got to stir up somebody. You got to wake up. You got to challenge somebody. You got to march forward. God save us from clarinet preaching.